We've got some.
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit.
If you'd like to learn more on how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. Yeah.
Guys, today, how to get free traffic from Facebook and grow to a six-figure business or more.
I can't wait. Like, the stories that we're about to share, guys, is gonna blow your mind. If you're watching now live, you can see Fonzie's hair. It's amazing. Just because his mind has been blown all week. So, guys, please go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to actually do that. Smash that subscribe button so you know where those episodes are dropping on your phone. And don't forget to follow us on social media at BizBrosCo everywhere.
That's right, guys. Slide in those DMs, please. And if you find this episode impactful, which I am sure you will, because today's guest is absolutely amazing, don't forget to share it with everybody and leave a 5-star review.
All right. Model after success. We've all heard of that. Well, while doing some research on successful Facebook groups, we ran across today's guest community. We actually shared a few comments here and there, and guess what? She was actually being at her home country, Venezuela.
That's right, guys. That is right. Today's guest is an avid traveler and an incredible entrepreneur. Her story is jaw-dropping. More on that later, though. But let's focus on how she can help you. She helps entrepreneurs make money on Facebook with 0 paid ads. What? Excuse me? Where do we sign?
She has made over $500,000 in the last 12 months with 0 paid ads.
Obviously.
And for the skeptics out there, that was after being down to her last $1,000. She has been featured on virtual summits with some of the digital marketing OGs like Russell Brunson, Lee Dumas, Jim Edwards, and many others. But one of her most important accomplishments was being able to retire her... Oh, hold on. I need to say this right.
Yep.
One of her most important accomplishments was being able to retire her mother-in-law this year. Let's go!
Let's go! Please put your hands together and welcome the queen of free Facebook traffic, world traveler, and the rising phoenix of digital marketing, Miss Alex Elliot!
I feel like I'm coming into the ring. Woo! That was like a blessing I've ever gotten in my life. Oh, I'm ready. What's going on, you guys?
Welcome, Alex. Wow, this is so exciting.
I'm so excited to be here. You have no idea. I was empathizing over here with Luis because like my hair also stood up when I met Catherine Jones. It's never gone back down again.
That's it.
So it stays like that for life?
Well, for life.
There we go.
Stuck. I try. No, it's
I'm good with it. It's a good story then.
It's a good story, yeah.
Great story. Yeah.
I have
Catherine Jones look.
I have too much gel in my head, so that's it. Like it's just fighting. I'm feeling it.
Right.
Dude, Alex, well, again, thank you so much for being on the show. We're extremely thankful and excited that you come here to share your story because, wow, what a wonderful story.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. We actually have similar stories. We come from the same, or we live in the same state. Like it's a Florida thing, I guess, So this is good. This is gonna be fun.
Super random fact here, but we were actually messaging in Brooke's Facebook group, and you said that you were an avid traveler, you love traveling and all that, and I randomly was like, well, yeah, I'm from Venezuela. And when you said I've been there, I was like, what? That is so cool. Because actually not many people have been in Venezuela, and it was shocking.
Yeah, I hope it was a wonderful, beautiful experience because there's wonderful, beautiful people there.
Yes, it was an extraordinary experience. I actually went when I was younger. So I was there probably, we're looking at maybe 30 years ago. So it was a different country 30 years ago, right?
Totally.
And And it was one of the nicest experiences. People were so kind. We ended up actually getting a flat tire, out somewhere in the jungle, and people helped us. It was so nice. So nice.
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have a very beautiful memory of our home country. So thank you.
Very beautiful
thank you for
memory.
sharing that. But now let's get to the juicy part.
The meat.
Alex, tell us, like, who are you? Like, how do you start this online marketing game? Like, down to $1,000 and now this amazing rising Phoenix success. Like, I know it's like definitely, I mean, people like to call it overnight success. I know there's a ton of work involved. We want to know, like, why did that happen? How did it happen?
Yeah. So it's funny because I get this question a lot, and it's like when people say, and probably other people have this too, I'm gonna guess. Like when people say, oh, like you just came out of nowhere and you had all this success and you're so lucky, and I'm like, what? Like, yeah. I was an overnight success, 14 years in the making. Like the part of the iceberg that you don't see, like all this down here, like everybody sees this little part and they're like, oh, you're doing it, you're making it. And you're like, I know, it's crazy because I didn't make it for so long. Like, so that's really the part that I really want to like share with people is, this doesn't happen overnight. And like, if it hasn't happened for you overnight, like, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Like it doesn't, I don't think happen for anybody overnight unless you're McCall Jones. Like that's the only person. Like, that's it.
Hey, for real, we were like in shock the second that we started talking and we're like, yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And you see, I'm gonna say here, she didn't even do it overnight success, so she had a lifetime of experience on that field.
She's got a lot of like offline experience. And so really, like I want people to kind of divorce themselves from the whole idea of like the overnight success. It's not real. It's a fallacy. It's this like idea we get excited about, but it's not actually real. There's so much that goes into it. So yeah, I mean, I was the overnight success 14 years in the making. And when I say that I failed at literally everything online before getting here, I did. I mean, I'm talking, I've spent multiple six figures on my failures, just failing forward, getting it wrong, you know, Shopify stores, eBay, Amazon, FBA, like you name it, digital marketing agencies. It was just all like wonderful, glorious, flaming failures, trying to learn this game, right? Yeah. I mean, I launched a supplement company and blew $50,000. It was great. Wow. So, you know, you have to, I think, I don't know who said it, but it was somebody famous once said, you know, the success is basically like going from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And I'd like to tack on to that. It's not just going with no lack of enthusiasm into your next endeavor, but it is analyzing what just happened, looking at the rubble and going, okay, cool. Is there any lesson that I can take with me that I can gather up and put in my pocket for the next time such that this failure wasn't a loss, right? So I like to think about this, you know, I mean, sure, I failed at 3 Shopify stores, but guess what I learned while I was figuring out the Shopify? I learned how to write sales copy. I learned how to do email marketing, like all these awesome things, these skill sets that I can now apply in my current business, right? So was it actually a failure? No, it was just a learning curve. Like that's all it was, right? So you've got to start looking at these things as learning curves, not failures. So yeah, that's my story is I spent 14 years trying, throwing spaghetti at the wall. And I just was either too stubborn or too dumb to give up. And I think that frequently that's the kicker. Like that's the thing. If you just refuse to give up, like you can't fail. You just keep going, right? And so I really find, you know, I interview and talk to a lot of successful people as well. I bring people in my group, and truthfully, like that one distinguishing factor, that sheer refusal to give up, no matter what, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how bad you fail, right? You flame out. If you just pick yourself back up and keep going, like you really can't fail. And so that's been a part of it. And I started out in this latest incarnation online in affiliate marketing because I was down to my last $1,000. And when I say my last, I don't mean like I also had some savings. Yeah. Or you know, I mean I had burned through my savings. I had $120,000 in student loan and credit card debt hanging over my head, and I had burned through my 401k. I was down to my last $1,000, like wow. Period. And we were in a situation where we couldn't pay our rent, had to move in with my mom. And at 43 years old, married, that's a really humiliating, painful thing to have to do. Concurrently, she had had a horrible accident. So we ended up kind of striking a bit of a of a deal. Mom will take care of you if you'll put a roof over our head. Like, it was so awful. Wow. But there we were. And we were down to $1,000 at the end of February. And I came across the One Funnel Away Challenge. And I read a blog post I'll never forget by Chris Fong talking about the One Funnel Away Challenge and talking about like all the success people were having. He talked about Doug Boughton and like all this stuff. And I thought, all right, like this is it. Like something just called me forward. And it was $100, which was 1/10 of the money that I had. And I was like, it felt like so much at the time. It was so big, you know? And I had to explain to my wife, I'm like, I know that we don't have a lot of money, but you have to trust me on this. And she's like, I've trusted you so many times, right? Like how many times have we heard that? Right? Like how many things have we done? And I was like, I know, babe, but just one more. This is my Hail Mary. This is it. And I promise you, if this doesn't work, I promise you, like I'll drive Uber, I'll do whatever. Okay. Like I promise. And that was the conversation we had. And I went into that OFA with what I like to call the blessing of desperation, the blessing of true desperation, of feeling I've never really felt before. Like there's no bottom under me anymore. Like I'm just going to fall if I don't make it. Yeah. And so I had to make it. There was no net that was going to catch me anymore. And so that was as I look back, a painful but beautiful place to be in, because it forced me to rise. It forced me to get over myself, get over my fear, and do the things that I had not up until then done. Right. So I had to change. I had to become someone new to have different things and different outcomes. It was very powerful.
Wow. First, thank you for sharing that with us, because I know that as marketers we often share stories, but I know that might not be an easy place to be. And what a raw story and powerful thing to be in that position and recognize that and dive in head first. Let's go and making it happen. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. I love, how at the beginning of the story, you mentioned failing forward. And I love that you said it that way. You didn't say, I was failing. You said, I'm failing forward. And I'm just saying this for people to realize that it's perspective at the end of the day, right? Like you can fail at something, right? And you can either fail forward and, like you said, right, analyze why this happened. How can I now, instead of taking just one step forward, take 2 or 3 steps forward on my next attempt? Or you can decide, because literally you have the choice of just looking at it as a failure and giving up, right? So, and I love that. And we actually were having a conversation the other day about, like most businesses, they disappear after 5 years, something like that, right? That's it, the statistics of like 90% of the businesses.
Exactly, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I think businesses don't disappear because they just have a bad product or something, right? Like, I think most disappear because of their business owners or whoever found it. I was like, maybe they are not, maybe they just cannot endure long enough in the game.
That's it. And that's it. The name of the game, I mean, Alex Sharfin talks about this, because he does a lot of like, profiting through crisis or doing well through crisis in essence. And he talks about the name of the game, first and foremost, is survival. Just survive. Just survive longer than your competition. Just ensure your own survival. And then once you've got that base, it's kind of like your building block, right? It's the foundation of the building. The building will not stand if the foundation isn't strong. The foundation is the survival. Like you've got to ensure your survival, meaning you've got to know what cash is coming in every month. You've got to know what cash is coming out. You have got to have a strong handle on your numbers, or you yourself as a business will not survive, right? So the name of the game is survival, and that very much translates into mindset as well. I mean, 99% of this game, let's be honest, is played between our ears. The rest of it is 1% strategy and tech, right? And 1,000 roads will lead to Rome. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day what road you pursue. Like you'll find case studies of success in every niche. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's like sweaters for Komodo dragons. As long as you got a great brand, you'll find a niche online who will buy it. You will. Like it doesn't matter what you do. So it's not the vehicle, it's the commitment to the path that's going to make the difference, right? And the commitment to that Eric Thomas says it, winners win, losers lose. Like if you commit to winning, you'll find a way to win.
Yeah.
Period.
100%.
Identify that, you will go there. You'll win.
100%. We were actually, it's funny, we were with Steve Larson in the One Funnel Away Challenge podcast, right? And he's like, what made you guys? Because we have like last year, same thing, like in April, we're like, oh man, we saw this ad on like YouTube 11 at night and we had the agency at the point, but we're like, we couldn't figure out like what was that service or thing that we were able to do. We're having so many issues, right? And we're like, man, I'm just gonna, and same thing, like my wife going to school, Fonzie like doing video editing on his own. Me, I was holding this job that I was working. I loved, by the way, but I was working about 12, 15 hours a day. So it's like, what do I do? I need to get out of this, right?
He was turning into a grumpy monster. Just throwing that out there.
Of course, anybody would, right?
And but it was like, okay, let's dive in, right? It was incredible because he gave us a tool and we felt like we were between the sword and the wall. And that's how we described it. We were like, just press against the wall. There's a sword in front of you, and you're like, "What are you gonna do?" It's all about survival. So I love that you bring that topic up because when you find yourself in that position, you're gonna have to find a way to move quickly, so the sword doesn't crush you.
That's it. And you really, I mean, I love it. Honestly, like I used to be an athlete, and now as an entrepreneur, there's so many parallels. Like I love those situations that are do or die. The situations where you're down by so many points and you've got to make that like half-point shot and it's got to go in. It just has to, right? Yeah. And at that moment, like all of your training comes in, like you just plant yourself and you go. It's that your everything you have done, every time you failed forward has brought you to this moment and has trained you and has, sharpened your instinct and has made you better. And all of those things come into play when you are under the gun. Yeah. Yeah,
I think that the adrenaline kicks in for sure. I mean, we grew up playing soccer our whole life. We definitely understand what you're talking about. And, for people maybe that they are not in the sports world, maybe they haven't practiced a sport. Just imagine, we've heard all that story that is like someone trapped under a car and this person that you couldn't imagine couldn't lift the car literally goes and that they lift it up. I think that's how it feels when you're against the wall and the sword.
That's exactly how it feels. Yep. Superhuman strength, superhuman focus. Like when success is the only choice you have, you find a way to succeed.
Yeah.
Period.
That's it.
Because otherwise you're going to get crushed. Like that's it. And you can't die. Rule number 1, don't die.
I love it. I love how you're dropping quotes in here like pew, pew.
I know. Our team is gonna have a blast like finding all these phrases. They're like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna be there's gonna be content
trying to make the editor's job easy
for a full year. Yeah, it's like it's all good.
I love it.
Alex, so you find the One Funnel Away Challenge, affiliate marketing.
Yes.
Why affiliate marketing? We come from to
be honest with you, I'm gonna be so honest and so raw. I was desperate. I didn't have the luxury of like, oh, let me go create my own product. Yeah. I didn't have a following. I didn't have anything. I'm like, what's the fastest path to cash? At the moment, the fastest path to cash. I mean, I'm in the One Funnel Away Challenge. I'm like, oh crap, I don't have a product. I don't know. Oh, I can promote ClickFunnels. Cool, I'll do that. Right? Like it was like that. And so I'd love to say my reason was there was some great altruistic, there wasn't. I was dying. I needed money. That was the fastest path to cash. So I went for affiliate marketing and decided that what I was going to promote was going to be the OFA, right? That was like the easiest thing to promote. And I thought, okay, how do I differentiate myself from all the other people out there, right? Because there's like this sea of people. And I knew I didn't want to be one of those guys, right? Like one of those like scammy, spammy kind of dudes, right? We all know who I'm talking about. Yep. So I was like, how do I and I actually began to model myself after Doug Boughton. I saw what he was doing at the time. He had a Facebook group and he would early in the morning, like watch the OFA training, go implement it in his business. He'd put together a little PowerPoint and then he'd like go live in the evening, talk about whatever his takeaways were, talk about the ways in which he implemented it in his business, and then he'd help people workshop it in their business. And I was like, I can do that.
So
That's
smart.
Cool. So I reached out to him. I actually was like, hey, I don't want to step on your toes, but I really like what you're doing. I'm really good at copy. You're really good at design. And I could tell he was like focusing on the design elements of things. I'm really strong at copy. I'm like the worst. You asked me to design something with a stick figure. So I was like, I will not focus on design. I'll focus on copy, but like, are you cool if I kind of model what you're doing? He's like, not only am I cool, here's my slides. He sent me. Like, he's so cool. He sent me all of his slides for all 30 days because he'd like already done it a time or two. And I was like, oh, dude. So
wow, amazing.
That was really cool. Like,
thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug. Yeah, big hug. Thank you, Doug. Virtual hug.
So I took those slides, modeled them, and put my own spin on it and started doing that and built up a really large tribe pretty quickly. I got from 0 to 2,000 members within 90 days or less in my Facebook group. And people were like, how are you doing this? How are you? And my first crew was like all affiliates who were like, how are you doing this? Oh my gosh. And I got enough, how are you growing your group questions to where I was like, there's something there. Yeah. There's something there, right? Like, and this is like a timeout moment. This is like a listen to your people moment, right? People are always like, how did you become a Facebook groups expert? I'm like, my people told me that's what they wanted. Like, I didn't set out to do this. Like, I set out to make a buck on affiliate marketing. My people were like, how are you growing your group? How is it so engaged? Oh my gosh. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm throwing spaghetti at the wall. So when I got enough questions, I was like, I probably should go like codify my knowledge. I should probably like learn some stuff. But all I had been doing, truthfully, was I was watching my competitors. I was, for all intents and purposes, social hacking. I was social hacking Doug Boughton, social hacking Rachel S. Lee, Spencer Meekum, Zeki Ahmed, at the time, Caitlin Bettridge. I was just looking at what are the top ClickFunnels affiliates doing and how do I come into this landscape and offer like a unique voice, but something similar, something modeled, right? I had funnel hacking on the brain. So I was like trying to do that, but with Facebook groups.
Yeah.
And so went and codified my knowledge and came back and I was like, all right, guys, like I'll make a challenge. Like, hey, we did the one funnel away challenge. We'll do the one group away challenge. Cool. And so did that. Originally was just going to be for my Facebook group. Like that was the original intention, was just my Facebook group. And then by the grace of God, I had the idea of I'm like, hey, I'm an affiliate. I bet people would like to sell this. Maybe I'll make an affiliate program and we'll launch with an affiliate program. Just thought that would be a good idea. So 2 weeks prior to launch, got a whole bunch of my affiliate friends in and like trained them up on the product and got them all affiliate links. And I was like, let's go. And we launched and it was amazing. And this thing just like took off past me. And I was like, what is happening? This is the most money I've ever made in my life. Like it was so shocking. It was so shocking. I'll never forget. I will never forget my first $16,000 day. I just like cried my face off, like just cried and cried. I was like, I've never made it at a moment. You know what I mean? Like just at a moment. So like just that's what happened. And, there's an amazing thing about passion and mastery. Passion and mastery are preceded by interest and practice. And so I had developed an interest. I had practiced and gotten better and better and better. And it morphed into passion and mastery after time just spent really engaging with the subject and serving people with the subject. And so that's sort of been the development. And here we are, and now I'm about to launch a software for groups. So it's just crazy time.
That's so amazing. I love the passion part. Sorry, I want to go second because I might extend a little bit.
Yeah,
so
he's a lot. But I just want the moment of you probably telling your wife and your family, guys, this is actually happening after all these years.
Oh yeah!
Wow! Like to me,
I'm telling you, so many tears.
Yeah, to me, that's one of the biggest like why we should be doing these things and endure long enough and achieve the passion and mastery, like you just said, with like interest plus the practice get the passion and mastery to get to this point. And this should be a massive driver for a lot of people out there. And, you know, through the show, we talked a lot about this, about the mindset, about the consistency plus the frequency, right? It takes practice. It takes a second. We've been living it with the show, with 45 lives that we've been doing in the past. And you will be able to see those results. And once you can see that, once you can taste them, like, wow, what a wonderful driver. So I just wanted to highlight that because I'm sure that picture was in your head for a long time and you made it a reality. It was manifested and it happened. So I just wanted to put out there in case people missed it. So thank you for
I want to actually underscore that and say, like, and not to get like too woo-woo on everybody, but I'm going to get a little woo-woo. So thanks, Diego. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm going to get a little woo-woo on everybody and let you guys know that, like, I start my mornings every single morning with like massive intentions, crazy meditation about like what I'm going to manifest. Like I journal it out. I visualize, like, I am so crystal clear on where I'm going. I'm so crystal clear. You know, when people ask you like, what do you want? I can just like say it. I know it. I see it. I remember my future. I don't remember my past because I'm not going that direction, right? I'm going this direction.
I love this. Were you always like that though? Like, so how do you make that change? Because a lot of people are in a position where like, okay, everybody tells me the juju works, right? The manifestation works. And I love the phrase, I remember my future. Like, we're going to start using that 100%. But how do you go from like, okay, I know everybody's telling me, but I don't see it, to it works and I actually execute it?
So it's a process. And I'm not going to say that it happened overnight. It didn't. So the first, I probably was meditating and doing like, you know, all these kind of woo-woo meditations. And I read the book, You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero, and like 3-4 times. And I did all the exercises and I did all the things, right? And I was broke as a damn joke. Like, and I'm like, it's not working, you know, and I'm like doing all the things, right? And I'm just like, she says like, go hide fake money around the house. Man, I went to like Toys R Us and I got myself some play money and I got the money in the underwear drawers and like I'm doing all of it. Like I'm crazy like that. I'm like, whatever I got to do. If I got to do a rain dance, I'll do it. So I'm doing everything to make the money appear and the money's not appearing. But again, it's going from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. It is living as if and believing, right? It's tuning in to that sense of well-being before the manifestation has appeared that would give me that well-being, right? It's faith. It's faith. It's simple faith. And so I simply believed in it for probably a good year and a half. And, you know, and it was mostly, I'll get real granular with you. I was doing like Abraham Hicks stuff and like reading Jen Sincero and all this stuff. And then I got a coach, Liz Benny, who really got me into stuff. She got me in like Joe Dispenza and journaling and doing all this different stuff. And I mean, that's when things just really like clicked. Yeah. And I just, you know, so it took a good long year and a half of this sort of tuning in to get to a point where it began to manifest. But do you think I'm ever gonna stop? No way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want the magic to
going.
stop. Are you kidding? Like,
exactly. Keep that momentum going.
Yeah. No, I love it. I'm gonna back up a little bit because I had a few points here that I want to cover them.
Like, do it.
So you,
I love it.
Something that you talk about, you know, when you decided to start this group, kind of like modeling after what Doug was doing. Yeah. You said he would go learn it, then he would do it, and then he would teach it. And I want people to actually like listen to this. I think that's one of the pillars of publishing in general or in business is learn it, do it, teach it. And we get so, you know, we have so much friction inside of ourselves when we try to teach something that we learned recently. And it doesn't have to be that way. You know, there's always someone is going to be 2 steps behind you that they need to learn that they want to learn that one thing that you're going to teach them. So I love that because that's a whole business model right there.
It absolutely is. And I want to, you touched on, I'm so glad you came back to this because you touched on something that I'm super passionate about. And that is absolutely this. Like, I want to for once and for all, dispel the myth that just because you're a quote unquote beginner, or just because you just recently learned something, you're not authorized or qualified or certified, or you don't have a PhD in it, so you can't teach it, like any of that stuff. You have to understand something. To the 4-year-old, the 6-year-old who knows how to tie his shoe is a god, right? So all you have to do is go find your 4-year-olds. You're not teaching the 10-year-olds. You're not teaching the 21-year-olds. You're not teaching the 40-year-olds. You're teaching the 4-year-olds. Go find your 4-year-olds and be the god to them, right? Yeah. In that one thing. But just, and the only commitment you have to make is to stay one step ahead. Russell talks about this, right? He talks about this with the guy from Catch Me If You Can. The guy taught an entire social sciences semester by staying one chapter ahead of the class. Like, that's it. And so literally, Doug and I, and a lot of other people who have done this model, are living proof that you can launch a freaking career, like literally launch a multiple 6-figure career being a dead noob. Hear me again. Be like, I was like, I had done all these awesome things over here and failed my face off, but I had never actually had success. I had no track record. I had no audience. I had nobody. I had no money. I had nothing. Yeah. I was like, it's my Hail Mary. It's my last thing. I came in and it was just like, all right, I'm going to study this thing. I would get up at 4 a.m. I'd watch Russell. I'd watch Julie. I'd watch Steve. I'd make my notes. I'd have my little takeaways. I'd type up the little quotes because I love quotes. So I'd like type up the quotes from Steve, because Steve always had these great quotes. Type up all the quotes from Steve that made an impact. Type up all the quotes from Russell. I'd be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for my funnel. And and I'd do it. And I'd like film a little Loom video. And I kind of like talk myself through it. And I wasn't very good, right? Because I wasn't a funnel designer. I'm still not. And then I would just like make up my slides. I'm terrible at PowerPoint. Like I would make up these ugly ass slides and I'd just go live and like teach people. And it was amazing. The art of showing up consistently, the art of giving a crap about people and their results, the art of being able to take an idea that might be a little bit complex for people and breaking it down. You know, I was a nurse before I was in internet marketing. I was a nurse for over 10 years. And we have a concept in nursing. It's called see one, do one, teach one. And so it's very much like what you were talking about. Amazing. See somebody put in an IV, practice putting in the IV yourself, and then go find a new nurse to teach it to, right? See one, do one, teach one. Yeah. And so that concept served me very well in this setting, this new setting. So I would love to encourage all beginners to free yourself from the shackles of, I don't know anything, I'm not authorized to teach. Yes, you are. Get at 4 a.m., learn the thing, go teach it by 5 p.m. that night. That's what
sometimes not just beginners. You find these people everywhere.
Yeah,
imposter syndrome is everywhere. Yeah. Absolutely.
Literally.
Absolutely.
And I love this, you know, this is how I visualize it, right? I mean, first, I think there's people that they're like, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Some are going to say like, oh, but you're not a real expert, blah, 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 right? Like first, if they're saying that, fine, let them say that, right? But this is how I envision it. Imagine a town just full of snow, right? And you are that truck. I know it has a name, but I've never seen snow in my life, so deal with me.
It's the snow truck, right?
Yeah, there's no truck that like takes all the snow on the side.
We're from Florida. We don't know what this is even called.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're one of those trucks that is just like taking all the snow on the side. You're leading the way, and then you're literally paving the way or clearing the way for the cars that are coming behind you, right? So you are just like taking on these challenges, learning, implementing, and then since you are in the front, you have the right to turn around and tell other people, hey, you know what? You can do it too, and this is how you can do it.
Absolutely. Oh, and the really beautiful thing is the plow.
Yeah. Thank you, Valerie. Appreciate your comments.
No plow. There we go. So the beautiful thing is, like, you don't have to be anybody but yourself. And you don't need to claim, nor should you ever inauthentically claim expertise where you don't have any. Yep. The beautiful thing is you can be exactly who you are and say, hey guys, I'm learning this new thing. Want to come along on this journey while I learn this new thing? I'm going to study it every morning, and then I'm going to teach you back what I learned every evening. Because you know what that does? two things. It helps solidify my knowledge for me, and it helps me communicate my knowledge to you, and you might learn something too. Want to come along for the ride? Done.
Let's
make it happen. Did I claim to be anything I wasn't? Nope.
Yeah.
Did I? You know. We're such a voyeuristic culture, and we're such a voracious content consumption culture. You'll find people who are really interested in following you on that journey, I promise.
No, I love this. And this is so... it's exciting to share because last year we lived the same thing, right? We with our agency, we started selling a lot of content to different brick and mortars, and we will go to the brick and mortars, right? And they'll be like, well, you guys are not publishing. And we're like, I know, but look at all these awesome customers that we have over here, and they're doing amazing things. But you know, the level of rapport kind of like dropped big time. And we sat down and we're like, why are we not publishing? Like, even, and you know how Russell says, like, never ever delete anything like on your social media. That's your story. Well, Fonzie here decided one day that he was going to delete everything before we even like met Russell. Because we're like, we're starting fresh. The new image, the new brand, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter. So we're like, okay, well, we are really fresh. Like, there's literally nothing on our social media. So this is the time, right? And and we sat down and we're like, okay, what's causing friction like for us to not publish? Let's remove that friction. So for us, that meant, okay, we want to be consistent every single day. So the friction is we have to edit these videos. We have to like put the beautiful sound and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, okay, remove all that. We need to be consistent every single day. We have to be frequent and consistent. So we decided after doing a crazy fitness challenge that we were going to do 45 days of Facebook Lives. And just like you said, we're just gonna document what's happening with your agency, the mistakes that we're making, how we're fixing them.
It was literally see one, exactly. do one, teach one.
Teach one. And, see one, do one, teach one.
And I just resonate so much with your message because at day 20, the one day that I did not want to do that video, I was sitting with like my 4-month-old like in my arms, right? And 11:30 at night, finally put him in bed, and I'm like, shoot, I still have to do this video. Okay, let's actually do it, you know, whatever, we have to stay committed. That video was the video that changed our business forever because somebody that was watching this thing that we connected like a year ago, he's like, guys, this is amazing what you guys are doing. Like, I'll invite you to this thing called content dinner. And we came up to this place, and after the content dinner, we explained what we did, and the guy's like, I need exactly you. I need what you guys do to land this contract. And we did, and it was an $80,000 a year contract that gave us the runway to go full-time with the company and now do the things that we do. So I resonate, Alex, so much with your story.
He's like our dog. You know, like,
he's like what?
Or dog. I'm pronouncing it properly. The name.
Oh, he's like your dog.
Like
yeah,
dog.
Yeah. It's a tough name to pronounce with their accent. I'm sorry.
Not a dog.
I'm not talking about puppies here, guys. Okay.
Right. Exactly. No, that's amazing. And it's funny that you say that because I remember distinctly a night last year. It was in March, and I was like, I don't want, because I had set myself go live for 30 days straight too. And there was like one day, like my mom had been really sick all day. I had to take her to the doctor. We did therapy. We did all these things. I still had to do whatever. Like I didn't want to go live. I was running late. There was like all this stuff. It was like 11:30 at night. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, I got to do this. I took a shower and I was just like, oh gosh. So I just decided, I was so tired. I'd been up since 4 a.m. that morning. And I was like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. I'm in my robe, and I'm in my, like, I have my towel over my head, and I just came up to the computer, and I'm like live, and I'm like, all right, guys, listen. But I just like
love it.
I was just like raw, and I'm like, I just got out of the shower. I have no makeup on. I give no shits, and I just was like, whatever. And I just said, and it was one of the most watched videos. People are like, we love that video when you're in the shower. And like,
the power of authenticity right there.
Authenticity,
so crazy,
showing up and stuff like that. So I feel, Alex, like we could go for like 3 more hours. And obviously we want to be mega respect for your time, and you know, we'll get plenty of your content, and we're there, we're like watching and stalking too, because we're learning from the best, obviously.
So awesome. I know.
So to start like wrapping things up a little bit, what is like, after all these years, what is one action point that people can actually do today? Like if they're like, I'm listening to Alex right now, I'm watching Alex right now, and I need to move forward. What would you recommend them to do?
Two things. I'm going to give you two instead of one. Number one, I love this, Valerie. This makes me so happy. I can just see your comment right there. Sorry, I just had to comment on that.
No, that's awesome.
So good. Thank you, Valerie.
It's beautiful, beautiful. I live for that. I live to light fire under people's rear ends and get them moving and get them going. It's a beautiful thing. So number one, commit and live as if you are against the wall with the sword coming at you. Because when you see, the beautiful thing about our minds is our minds don't know the difference between when we're imagining it and when it's real. You can literally think about it. You put yourself into a state of anxiety all the time, worrying about things that never happen in the future. And you're making yourself sick. You've got an ulcer. Your heart rate's palpitating. I mean, your brain doesn't know the freaking difference. That is a beautiful thing. And if you learn how to marshal that for your own benefit, so powerful.
Yeah.
So begin to live as if you're under the gun, baby, because in all reality, you are. We've got a very limited time on this earth, and the clock is ticking, and it's always ticking. Yeah. And if you've got something you want to do while you're here on earth, you better get to doing it, right? So you need to commit to live as if. That's number one. Live as if your back's against the wall and you've got to figure this out. I don't care how comfortable you feel right now, get uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, you change. Things happen. You move. Yeah. You make things happen, right? So that's number one. Number two, in a more tangible way, I would set up what's called a Facebook profile funnel. Why? Because it is one of the single most, like if we could pull levers to create impact, right? If you are getting started or you don't know where to start and you're like, I just got to make something happen. Yeah. Setting up a profile funnel on Facebook, the third most visited website on earth, and really calling out your target audience, right? Attention online entrepreneurs, attention small business owners, attention stay-at-home moms, whoever your people are, poodle owners, like I don't care, whoever your target audience is, like calling those people out, giving them a big benefit-driven reason to engage with you or reason to learn more, reason to get started with your thing, right? Setting all of that up in that way will be so powerful because it is a 24/7, 365 source of organic traffic for you, source of new conversation, source of new network, right? Connecting with people. And if you don't know what a profile funnel is, you are welcome to visit me on Facebook. You will get a literal profile funnel. You'll see it in action.
We'll put all the links below, and that's one of the last questions too. But before we get to that one, first of all, thank you for sharing those action points. Those are wonderful.
So I'm gonna add the Biz Bros action point real quick. It's gonna take 15 seconds, guys. You just learned it. Now do it and then turn around and teach it.
Yes.
There we go.
Amen. I love it. I love it.
There we go.
What a good way to put a cap on it.
Bam, that's it. Should we get it done? That's it? Is it game over? The episode? Okay.
No,
I love it. That's it. I can't say anything else. That's it. I'm done. So, Alex, we always ask this question at the end of the show. Where will you be without publishing?
Absolutely nowhere. I'd probably be driving an Uber. I'd probably be in a very dark, sad, defeated place without publishing because it was the commitment that I made to Steve Larson when Steve Larson in the One Funnel Away Challenge said, publish daily, publish daily, publish daily. He who publishes daily for 365 days a year will never go hungry. And I was so hungry at the time. And I said, I want that. And so I went for that and I began to publish every single day, and it changed everything about who I am, first of all. Be, do, have. It changed me first so that my actions would be different. I would take different actions. I would share and publish so that I could have different outcomes, and I do not recognize myself or my life back from last year.
That's amazing.
Completely unrecognizable. So publishing has been everything for me. Everything.
Thank you.
Wow,
and if you're listening, guys, please, like every episode, go ahead and start your journey and start publishing. So Alex, thank you for that. How can people find you? Where can people learn more about this amazing Facebook funnel?
Oh, absolutely. So come on down to The Price is Right. I just couldn't resist. Sorry. Come on down to I'm showing my age. So come on over to Alex S. Elliot on Facebook. You literally just look me up, Alex S. Elliot on Facebook. 1 T, I think, 2 L's, and you'll come find me on Facebook, and you'll see a profile funnel in action. And if you're interested in like going through the profile funnel and seeing what happens, you can come hang out with me. We do free 5-day challenges every single month, and you will learn an absolute mind-blowing amount about organic marketing on Facebook, about Facebook groups, about software to automate your Facebook groups, all the fun things. So you can come play with that as well if you'd like.
That's so exciting.
That's exciting, yeah.
So guys, please go ahead. We're going to drop the links right in the description. So you're going to find all the information from Alex. And go hang out. Go learn. Let us know, too, if you enjoyed this episode. Why do you want to keep learning?
I just want to add one more thing. Guys, make sure if you're going out right now, check yourself in the mirror because your hairs might be going crazy because we just got our minds blown. So make sure you don't go out looking too crazy.
That's one of the reasons we almost every episode wear hats.
Yeah, that's what we had.
That's why.
Tamp it down so it doesn't go wild.
Yeah, so Alex, don't leave. We have 2 more minutes with you. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Please go ahead and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. And follow us on social media at The Biz Bros Go everywhere.
That's right, guys. And if you found this episode impactful, which I am sure you did because it was amazing, don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye.